the apparent problem of the pandemic and the political upheaval. When we're speaking of the peril, we're speaking of a time of a collective shift. The fact is, it's already happening. We're speaking into it as it is unfolding. And that this last year, 2020, that we're still completing, is evidence of this wake up, you're in trouble message. And it's just, I read today that here in the United States, there's a wild mink, who picked up the coronavirus. This is the new version of the virus that Europe killed all their minks to eradicate. So we're not done yet. Lessons going to keep coming. And it's not just this apparency of Trump and politics, or the fanaticism that's showing up worldwide in the developed country, but it's this larger peril that at the very subterranean design of every living creature we are sensing. And this peril is lifting us out of our slumber as a planet, as all living species. Everything is coming out of its slumber. And everything that has been hidden, or all that accumulated error based on being asleep in this way for so long, are being shown. Everything that's unworkabilities are all being shown. The old structures, the scaffolding that has supported the evolution of humankind is now being revealed as inadequate for what's coming. So we are in an extraordinary time. I was just reading today about a planetary conjunction. Now, I want to let you know that I've been following astrology since I was 16, and that I have always looked to this as kind of a sort of a alternative way of viewing life than the one that we all are indoctrinated with. But I've never seen so many omens coming together at the same time astrologically. For example, Jupiter and Saturn. These are, of all the planetary, I'm speaking from my experiences with Western astrology, in all the planetary influences, Jupiter and Saturn are representative of collective archetypal principles that are inherent in all of us. So it's the aspects of our planet location or Saturn location in our charts show our connection in the unfolding of us as an individual more into the universal. So if we're in touch with these principles, we're already universalized as a person. So these two planets are coming together. Now, they're not coming together like this, or like this, or like this. They're coming together like this. 800 years since the last time that's happened, 1700s. This conjunction affects two principles. One, Jupiter for expansion. Two, Saturn for contraction. Saturn rules consequences, karma, structure, cause and effect. Jupiter rules possibilities, expansion, openness. To have these together at the same time is a rare event in the omen field, and that it's occurring on the day where winter starts, the winter solstice, December 21st. And the thing that this winter solstice is, it reflects two signs. One sign, Sagittarius, is ruled by Jupiter. The other sign is ruled by Saturn. So not only the planets are aligned, their planets are aligned at the point where those two are in transition. Contraction to expansion, expansion to contraction. It so happens to be my birthday. So it is also relevant to this work, obviously, that if there are omens for what I'm speaking of these next 3 days. But I also want to not make it into anything more than just that. My experience with omens, they're in the proximity of about 60 to 70% of the time indicating something. Well, They're indicating what we've been talking about all along. The struggle between dark and light, the struggle between being overtaken by the consequences of Saturn by creating a new possibility in the midst of it. Jupiter, by the way, also rules the guru. Saturn also rules karma. So when you look at this, it's the battlefield. And that's where we are. And that's what we need to recognize, that you're hearing this, that you're with me, that all the work that I've done, for whatever reasons, whatever were the motives until these last few years, has been to address what's happening now. So the peril is an immediacy, but it's an immediacy that's awake. Not the immediacy like that happens when we go out into come out from a winter or come out from a period of darkness and enter into the light. We're talking about an immediacy in our relationship with existence, in the quality of our consciousness that's not so individually self-absorbed that it's connected to the collective condition that we're in the midst of. So it's about universalizing, expanding our individuality to include the world. So when we become aware that this is actually the will of the World Mother, the manifesting instrument of the Supreme's evolutionary purpose is what I'm calling the World Mother in this domain of where we can have this conversation, where we have physical bodies. She is the implementer. She's the executive action. Behind her is the Supreme that empowers her so that she can play a role that she couldn't play in times like these by herself. This is when Krishna says, I come again and again during times of transition, periods of darkness, to strengthen the truth and to dismantle the untruth, dissipate the untruth, so that a new Dharma can manifest. This is not just what inspired me and creating new Dharma. This is what inspires, in truth, every awakened being who's coming here for the world. We're here to bring that which lifts consciousness up to the place where it can become empowered to deal with that which before it wasn't capable of seeing, recognizing, or dealing with. It's really a powerful period by which we can see the miracle of our own existence as an action, as an event of us collaborating with a current of becoming that is, yes, impacting each of us individually in our own spiritual development, our own human integration, but it's impacting the whole world. So the nature of this peril is we're in a bad situation physically. The world is in a place where we've crossed the tipping point. That means there was a place, that I share about the creation that could have expanded into nothing or collapsed back into its origin is 1/1,000,000%. Well, we're at a crossing point where we've gone beyond that 1/1,000,000th. And where it goes is a diminishment of the miracle of the life of the world that we've been able to live for the entire 200,000 or more years, thousands of years that humanity has been in existence. So it ain't going to be the same. Now, it doesn't mean that the earth can't survive, but the principle here is now we've played a role in shifting that tipping point as a species. We are the cause of nature would have held it. Mankind pushed it across the point. So we've crossed the 400 particles per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere sometime last year. We are now immediately seeing the consequences. This is the power of this tipping point. That means the forces of creation and the forces of destruction are right here, right now, and the cause and effect period is much shorter. So, and that period is shortening. because the nature of the peril is the correction isn't put in, then the world will be unrecognizable. So the peril we're in is a call. It's a call to our universal role. It's a call that also allows us to hold what's going on with ourselves individually in a larger context. Because I assure you, whatever any one of you is going through is a reflection of a piece of mankind, maybe 100,000 people, maybe 1 million people who have similar issues. And we are the means by which it could be worked out because we're the awakened ones. We're the ones who woke up. We're the ones who came here to carve a path that would be there should we cross that tipping point. Otherwise, like all of us, we could have retired, right? We could have just gone, hey, it was good, not too bad, not too good. It's therefore we're cool. Well, that ain't possible. Not now. Everything has consequences. And everything's going to have an immediacy in the consequences. The tiny fraction in our country that made the difference between Biden and Trump is taking one of the largest causes of the peril into a place where actually they can become responsible for the role they played. So it's actually, I was reading the news, all the people that Biden and Harris campaign are organizing to work on climate change, and it's a kick butt team. I mean, no doubt about it. These are the people, if anything could be done, if they're empowered, they could start putting in whatever correction we can, even though we've crossed the tipping point. So yeah, there's Jupiter. And by the way, Jupiter will pass Saturn first. So the possibility is now, starting after the 21st, now there is this implementation of this intervention in the physical world, in the world where people make decisions about people's income, about people hiring, and about racial equality, and about justice, and about people who are being displaced because of climate change and because of disease, and the people who died. It is a crossing point where there now is an opportunity to wake us all up into a new ordering of how we address in our normal life. Our masks are evidence of the immediacy of this time. Mask or die, or mask or risk causing death for others. Talk about peril. We've lived in it for now, how many? Almost the whole year. And it's going to last. It's going to be at least a year lesson, but it's going to apparently get better, this particular issue. But what it means is it's our individual action being related to our collective action. When we take actions aligned with the purpose of this time, we have a greater power behind us than we retreat to the old way that does not want to change, does not want to believe it, suspicious of everything, has dismissed all previous structures as any validity at all, and are now they're just free of any responsibility for what's happening elsewhere. Any responsiveness to what's happening everywhere. So, what do we do? Well, we have to meet the peril. We have to recognize it's here. We have to include it in our prayers. We have to be attending to the fact that this is happening. And not just for yourself, for the millions of generations that could live in the future, should we be able to put in sufficient correction. And there's basic principles here, basic rules that are evidence of aligning with the truth of what the Supreme wishes for humanity. That we are all interconnected. That every action has consequences on others and as well as on ourselves. That the more we're asleep, the more likely we're going to perpetuate the error that brought us to this peril. And the more we're awake, the less likely we are going to perpetuate the error on this peril. So what is our role here is to be awake and to hold the problem, hold the reality, to educate ourselves, to be informed, to not let the true peril that's now going to become more and more apparent slip into the background of the ordinariness of our lives. To take a moment, like before each meditation or after each meditation, where you give your attention to the planet, to the world mother, and behold the anguish that is occurring in that moment due to the consequence of this shift, this 1 millionth of a percent. That's the tipping point that we have crossed. It's too late to bring it back. We can't correct that. That what's unfolding now will continue to unfold until some point we can put in a correction. There will be a new world order that will come out of that. What happens with peril? People need to get together. They need to get their act together. They need to get over their littleness. They need to get over their habitual obscurities. They need to be working together in each in their own little way to invest, to commit, to putting in the corrections that are needed. Once they're informed, there needs to be a central, believable authority that can come out of this, that gets enough collective agreement that it can take action, initiate action, gather together resources and direct them effectively so that some kind of collective correction can be manifest. I know Biden. I know his system. He is tapped into the current of the same current I'm living. I know that the people he's bringing in are tapped into the same current that is living me. That's leaving all of us, actually, even though they may not be aware of their awakening. And all you have to do is look at the evidence of his particular life, of every kind of tangible disaster happened to him as his life just expanded. So it is the evidence of his determinate resolve to be useful, to serve, that proves that the Supreme is working through it. Now, can he do that? Yes, he can. He can. And he can use the team he's building to create enough of a consensus that at least in this country, we can move into alignment with the other countries of the world that are now recognizing this peril. We have been the dogged. We've been the slow. This country has been the slow one. It's clinging to its cowboy past, to its conquer and conquest and control and dominate pattern. It's getting humbled. And we had clear evidence when an undivine being was running the country for 4 years. So that it is not a reflection of the person, it's a reflection of the culture that would have such a person be in a position of power for so long. So we have been slow to learn the lesson, and the mother has made sure all of us who are awake know it. Because she needs our attention. She needs our empowering her to manifest her will first through us, and then to hold the space for all in the world that are still learning how to do that. Now, what does that mean in terms of action? How does that impact how we live, what we make important, what we give our attention to? All right. This is where this goes. It comes right down to us. It comes down to what we can do or what we can for our own aligning. And then what can we do that can support the collective aligning? And there is one thing you can do. And it is the most important of all things you can do. You can take your own spiritual unfolding and apply it to your life. You can seek situations where you can bring that little awakening and expand it, and in the process, empower and serve others so that they too can do the same thing. What happens right now is that what's unique with New Dharma and this focus work is that we have organized to be a means by which the incarnation force can come into the world. And there are ways and structures that we have set up in place where you can become proficient in being useful to the world in this way. And that the universe, it never in any other time of history has this been possible, where multiple dimensions, where all the gods and beings and forces of the world mother exist, will come and support its manifestation. You almost cannot do wrong when you take action aligned with divine's will at this time. There has never been an opportunity, a greater accelerant for the unfolding of what it means to be awake, what it means to be able to be of service to the world, than in this time we're living right now. That's my absolute convinced reality. I'm a demonstration of it, even though I've been struggling with trying to articulate what the hell happened to me and who's in charge that would have that happen. It's still, I have this sort of like, what are you doing going on in here? Because it's just like, there's a part of me that just can't believe the extraordinary shifts in what was possible, even though I'm the one that declared it. I'm the one that said, yes, let's do this. I'm the one that's been speaking it for these years, endlessly and endlessly. But it's always come from something that was there already. Well, now I'm stepping into something that's not. Now, actually, I've been stepping into something that's not for quite some time. I've just grown used to it. But it's now another leap. That's my sense of it. Part of it is the condition of the times of the world around us. Part of it is that I can speak to you in this modality and that you can speak to others in this modality. Part of it is when I listen to all of you working in your small groups and in the different programs, I can see, I can feel, I can recognize that the divine is stepping in and taking over your own evolution, accelerating the things that you would not have been able to do yourself. In so many different directions, people are coming in and playing the same role, just like Susanna and Satyagita. People are creating programs that will then further this dissemination into the ordinariness. And that's what I want to say that's new. Into the collective consciousness, where it becomes something that they can learn in whatever scope that's important to them. It could be to be more effective in their business, or it could be to become a more effective leader, or it could be to actualize something that they want to actualize as an individual. It'll always be an expansion of the identity outside of the bounds of what it's known before into a possibility of becoming. Any aspect of life, be you a therapist, a teacher, an administrator, a leader in some area of economics or social sciences or education. All of these become avenues that have been aligned with sustaining the world order, become avenues in dissolving the old and creating the new order that's needed to deal with this peril. So what will this look like? How will it mobilize? It's going to come from an inner inspiration. It's going to come from your aspiration, but there will be a human inspiration that will give you the clarity on how that can come into whatever part of your life is able to receive what has come to you. It is my saying that the world is going to start seeing you. They're going to find you because they're desperate for what you're becoming. And whatever piece of that you are, they're going to want to draw on it. And you need to learn how to allow that to happen in such a way that empowers your own awakening, that serves them. And in that means you will see what I'm speaking of. You will find for yourself your own Dharma, your own track. So in many ways, it's not different done what you've already doing, what we've all been already doing. But our purpose now is for the rest of our life. This is the rest of our life. You who are younger, you who are in your 30s, you're going to be in your 60s when the full consequences of this tipping point is going to be the reality of your day-to-day life. You're going to be able to see the choices that were made from this point until then that were aligned with that correction or weren't. You'll get clearer, you'll get more awake. Your life will make a difference or not based on the choices we make from now on. And it's not going to end over there. It's not going to end at 2050. It's not going to end at, 21. Let me see, is that 2050? Oh, got to be 2100. 2100. It's not going to end. It's not going to end. It's the condition. It's the new reality. The world is not going to go back to the same. It's over. Get used to it. So get over it. Get used to what is now coming. Get ready. Strengthen yourself. Live your life as if it mattered. Not like it doesn't matter or I don't matter or all those other little strategies of ego to hide out, protect itself, stay small. It's not necessary for you to be big outwardly as much as to be big inwardly. I have spoken before about the physical conditions. The atmosphere has not been this contaminated with CO2 since 250 million years ago. 250 million years ago, where there were extinction events of major significance. 60-70% of all life lost. It's never been hotter since those times, nor has it been getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Now, what is hot? Fire. What is fire? Awakening consciousness itself. So obviously it's going to keep getting hot until either we cook or wake up. Yeah, 250 million years ago, it didn't make a big difference. Humans weren't around. There wasn't any species that really knew they were alive. They were just doing nature's programming. But it's going to hurt for those of us who are awake and all our children and their children and their children and their children. And it's going to close down the possibility of mankind unless we either have time or discover and create solutions that are currently not available and impacts every level of society. We can't keep raising cowboy children. We can't keep raising people who are living off a paradigm that is thousands of years old due to their religious beliefs or their opinions or their inherited positions of their parents. We have to come out of our ancestral indoctrination and we have to discover this cross-cultural, transhuman, all of living creatures relationship. It's the only way that we collectively can learn from the lesson of what's coming. So I am the voice, right? I told you I'm born December 21st, winter equinox, 16 minutes after it transitioned. So I am both doom and possibility. I am the destroyer and the creator simultaneously. I am that which came into existence and that which falls out of existence. I'm that prior to existence and I'm that is existing. This paradox, simultaneous. But so are we. So are all of us. Each night we go to bed, we kill the world. Each day we wake up, we create it again. We are this event. You're not just this person. Now, how will you know that? How will that be real for you? You serve this incarnation force. You serve the Supreme. You serve the World Mother. You align your life for that purpose. You make it the most important thing. And then all the grace, all the forces will come, because all the subtle planes, all the beings exist for us. They all exist to keep the miracle of this manifest creation here. We don't want to lose this. None of these beings want to lose this. This is the most precious plane of consciousness. It's only here that the Supreme can wake up to itself and enjoy its creation. This is the jewel of all existence. This world and each of us. We're a miraculous thing. I want to read a little bit of something someone sent to me. Faisal Mudadam is who wrote this. Earth. This earth is the most magnificent being there is. There is no planet like this. They can look anywhere. The intricacies of what this planet is made of, someday we will know. What this planet really is and how it is designated. It's not a piece of rock separate from the sun and just became like this. In all of this, there were intricacies and forces that worked to create laboriously over millions of years a planet that has 7 spheres of energy in it. And these spheres, these frequencies pass through them to manifest as a tree right in front of our eyes. It's not haphazard. It's not chaotic. It is designed with utmost wisdom, beauty, knowledge, science, all coming together. We are seeing a magical being metamorphosizing. And we are magical beings metamorphosizing. But nobody is home. We're asleep. We're so unconscious, living in the story of our trauma of the past, and the magical kingdom is unfolding. The essential work awakens us to the richness of what it is here, in the here and now. It includes the whole kingdom, not just the pure beingness itself. The pure beingness, the cosmic citizen, and the kingdom. All are it. It is beautiful. It really makes you cry every day to be touched by how this kingdom did come together. It is so awesome, really awesome. That's what we're waking up to. That's what we're living for. That's what we want to preserve more than anything. This is the cry of all the worlds. Save this planet. Save this opportunity. Tap into that within yourself as I speak this right now. Can you feel the cry of the world that's asking, calling us, inviting us to become more than we ever imagined? To become aware, awake of the miracle of your very life, your existence, the breath you're breathing, the freedoms and the options for enjoyment, true enjoyment, without claim or position or territory or right or wrong, but true enjoyment of the miracle of living, of being alive, and having a role to play in its unfolding. Just let this in. Just let this sink in and entrain itself in your body. Just be aware of your body right now. Be aware of the miracle of breathing. How is it that the air is just perfect for what your body needs in any one breath? Breathe in the miracle of your own existence with that. Allow yourself to become aware of your immediate environment. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What's the sensation? How is this that can happen? How is it that you can be here right now to enjoy all of this? What is it that you are? What is it that's the enjoyer? What is it that can know she or he is awake? To know you're here alive in a body on a planet, that you can hear these words and let the force that's behind them come in and penetrate into the cells, the fabric of the same thing that you are, each having a role to play in the organism of your body to provide and sustain your living so that you could be in the miracle of your own aliveness, of your own here now-ness. Nothing's more precious. Nothing's more important. When we become familiar with the miracle of our own existence and our ability to appreciate, enjoy it, and to feel the multidimensional energies that come to us as they come to join us in celebration with your celebration of your own existence, taking us far beyond our own limited ability to know what enjoyment is, into a whole nother paradigm of knowing and experiencing, joining in with us in this extraordinary recognition of the miracle. If there is anything to celebrate in this season of celebration, it is this: with each other, in the context of this purpose. Supreme wills this for you. Supreme wishes this for you, no matter what doubt or guilt or remorse or unworkability or unlivability you imagine you are. It not only loves you, it worships you just as you are, in the true sense of worship, being here for you. Can you let that in? Can you hold that possibility? Be uncomfortable with that possibility? That you matter? That God's attention has turned towards you? And all you need to do is let that grace in. Let that attention fill you up and make you whole, and then make you more. Just stop resisting, stop opposing, stop rebelling, and you will know the truth of what I'm speaking. And that's to everyone who's listening to this program, not just those who know who I am. This is a message for the world. It's a law. It's a law of reality. When there's a peril, and the same consciousness that can know of the peril, there is also this huge purpose that's wanting to manifest itself through us. Be the purpose. Hold the peril. Bring into your life whatever that calls you to bring in. If nothing else, to know the miracle of the immediacy of your life. Because that at least is one evidence of gratitude for where we find ourselves now. Gratitude is the only appropriate response when we wake up to the peril, and this huge purpose. Thank you. Thank you for coming to me. Thank you for showing me what is needed. Thank you for making my life meaningful. Thank you for giving me a reason to organize how my life shows up from now on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me be worthy. Let me be a perfect expression of your will. I don't know where we can go from here.
Questions? Yeah. Perfect segue.
I think I gave the answer to all questions.
So I'll let people bring up their questions.
Yeah, but all right, so we need to translate this for you into something that you can hang on to, or something where you can speak to that's real right now for you, that can empower your ability to recognize this living in this prayer, living in this purpose, and living in that fulfillment of being aligned with that purpose. All right, so let's see where this goes. We have to bring this down. We have to make this real. It's not enough to feel this. We have to bring it in. We have to bring it into our body, but we have to bring it into our life, and we have to participate with others from that place. Not that they need to know it, but if they come to you and if they are, well, then that would be the opportunity. If you notice you don't want to be with them, or you notice you want to be with them, or you notice you don't care if you're with them, there's a role to play. It's not about what you want, what we think, what we imagine. It's something we bring in. Then it takes over. It takes over the choices. It takes over the consequences. It takes over if it worked out or it didn't work out. It takes it over and uses everything so that the miracle of your prayer can manifest for you. Okay. All right, let's start from who's able to hold this and come forward.
First up is Karam.
Karan. Welcome. Namaste.
Namaste.
It's Jamel, actually. From I was in Switzerland and now I'm in Portugal.
Oh, you're in Portugal now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been guided there. I don't know what I'm doing here yet, but I'm here. That was really powerful. It was really beautiful what you just said. I cried and was really profound for me. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's all about the purpose. I have this drive to go for the purpose, to go for what I feel to do and everything, but there's something who don't want me to do it. And when I wanted to come forward now, I had this huge pain here. And I guess it's connected to this aspect of me who don't want me to do the job or to don't want to go there or take the risk. So I just want to check in with you what you.
All right. Well, tell me what it is specific. What is it?
It's the pain.
Yes, the thing.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you know it's there. You know you want to do it.
It's
But you don't know what it is.
I don't know if it's self-attacking myself or it's a voice in my head that will not let you do this job. I will not let you do this and this. Yeah, it's.
Well, you could start with stop listening to the voice in your head.
Yeah.
And you could start putting your attention into your heart, the one that just heard this message. And then from that place, there may be no actions for a while. Maybe your Rajas has to stop being Rajas. Maybe it needs to stop going from this place to that place. Maybe it just needs to stay in one place. And be with that prayer. How can I serve? Be with what you just opened up in this moment. This is the reason you were born. What you do is secondary. Finding this in your own experience, that's the most precious thing. From there, this voice of the head will not have the authority it does right now. All of us Western developed, educated human beings are run by their heads because we gave all the authority to it. We were programmed to give all our power to our choices and our decisions and our preferences and our rules about what we should or shouldn't do, or our desires or our rebellions or our reactions or our projections and our fears. Just quit listening to it.
It is also manifesting with like kind of energetic attack also. It's not only in my head.
Yes. Okay. So the energetic attack, I think it is true. So you do some things. One of the things you do is you put yourself in an environment where those forces are not being fed by the outer circumstances. In the woods, in nature, in an ashram, with other spiritual people, and you live in that field. Then they won't have the same ability to enter. Secondly, they're entering because they're trying to show you something in you that you haven't been awake to.
Yes, that's what I want to see. But like the last few months were really intense. So I've been through a lot of cleansing and going through a lot. I'm not scared of going there, but there's some stuff I don't see.
I think the context that you're in, physical circumstances you put yourself in, will be important. And I think that to be in higher spiritual energy will also support your ability to go through the process. Because yes, you're already in an automatic transformational process, but the quality of your awakening is not fully grounded or stable in you enough so that there isn't truly a battle where you lose sometimes and win sometimes.
Yeah.
So we want you to win. So that's the idea. We want you to be the one that comes forward, meets the things, see them for what they are, can include them and not be overtaken by them. So that's the process of this work.
Yeah.
You know of me. You know of this work. You know of the resources that are available. You know of the different communities and programs that go on, the study groups and so on. Use them. And then be patient, because you're not going to go through this just like that. What you want to do is develop yourself as a warrior for truth, for love, for aliveness, to become more useful. But meanwhile, take care of your practical necessities. Take care of what you need to support yourself physically. Take care of any immediate pressing issues that need to be resolved. Make your life simple. Simple, get like debt-free, obligation-free, just enough to make a living. Make your life like a monastery, even if you're living in the middle of someplace. What is there that's still incomplete and unresolved in your outer world? Not what needs to be addressed, spoken to, opened up to heal, so that your outer life quiets. Then the inner authority will grow, and that will create its own new step of this unfolding. So that's what I see as first. Right now, I think the turmoil is making you throwing you this way and that way. But really, you need to take a place and settle and
Yeah,
make yourself simple.
That's why I came in Portugal, actually, to go, and that was my intent now. It's to go and live in nature, close to nature, in nature, to just reconnect, because it's more about grounding myself.
Very good. The more you're in your body and the less you are in your head, the more the immediacy of the reality of what you are becoming will be available to you. And it will convince the mind eventually. What will happen is parts of your mind are really good, and they will join you in the work of what you're trying to accomplish. So preparing your system starts with managing your outer life enough so that then the inner life becomes the focus of your attention. Watch what happens. It'll start. I mean, it's already straightening out. It'll start becoming clear of why it's showing up like it is in your life. And you have a role to play. Darkness comes to us so that it can be transmuted into light. It has no other purpose.
Yeah, that's the thing. And also, I think I'm transmuting stuff who are not mine.
That's right. And not just for yourself, probably for the world.
Yeah. That's because you were talking about beings coming. I have negative, but have a lot of really beautiful being with me all the time, and more. So, I think I have something to do with that later on. For now, I just need to stay.
This is what it means. This is evidence of God's attention, Kareem. You've been found, and God's using you because it has no time. These forces that are organizing, the world mother that is organizing, there's no time. The imbalance is too critical. So it's coming in very fiercely. In another time, this would not have happened like it is, or you would have been able to go back to a human life. But
that's the thing. It's you cannot function properly in the society when you are going through all that. It's not possible. That's what I experienced the last 2 years, 1.5.
All right. Well, now you're gaining some authority. Now you're coming grounding in your purpose. Now you're linked up with a teacher that can take you somewhere. You're linked up with a sangha that can support you. You're coming out of the woods into where you're going to be empowered in the process more immediately as you keep doing what you've been doing. So you're basically eating poison, and you're converting it to nectar, and the nectar is becoming the truth of what you are. And you're from that place, you can experience the miracle of the purpose and the opportunity of your life.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right. Very good.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
Next up is Patricia.
Patricia.
Hello.
Namaste.
Namaste. What you were speaking about made the well, I just explained that this afternoon I was after a silent sitting, I was again taken down to a very dark place. And it sounds a bit crazy, but it was like going into the jaws of a huge fish, subterranean fish, and collecting some kind of diaphanous beings and bringing them out. And it was very frightening. And so I kept sounding this mantra of Sat Shri and Krishna and trying not to let any thinking come in between. And it went on for quite a time. And finally, I came to a higher position, a higher world. And I wondered when on earth this was going to stop. And Krishna said, include it. So I did include all of that, including the fear, which was that I would get lost in these subterranean worlds. And but what? And then the instruction was to eat it.
Sounds like me.
I did eat it, and but what actually when you were speaking, what happened was that the world became very large, and it seems that the only way forward is inclusion, is to include absolutely everything.
Very good.
And just as a little joke, really, but after the food had been eaten, it turned into a golden turd.
That's called shitting the elephant. There we go. Yeah, you leave your fish in the fish tank long enough, you'll find those golden turds. All right, so the principle here is obviously it's at work for you. For you individually, you're being introduced to the domains of the lower vital, the second chakra.
Yes.
So it's not territory you're familiar with.
No.
So you're now getting familiar, because it's not just your second chakra where all your issues lie. It's a domain of beings that live there, not knowing that they're there, that this is their world. So you're playing a role in the subtle dimension associated with the water element, with that lower vital element. So it's opening up evidence of your system expanding and opening up individually and universally. So have you been learning the elemental techniques?
Yes.
Yes. So that's why. They're now opening up the frequencies that you aren't used to using or accessing. So yeah, continue with that. And then your body becomes a much more you're expanding now. So yes, the fear, the little girl, the one who's not yet the adult that you're becoming, is going to go through her process as she joins you in the work you're doing. So Patricia, no, it's perfect. You're completely aligned. The universe has taken over. So this is what it looks like.
I know, I don't enjoy it very much, but that's not the point, is it?
That's not the point. It's called enjoyment, just not the kind of enjoyment you want.
I know, not what I...
When you tell me I'm enjoying it, then we know you're done with the not enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. It's not tea and cake every day. Yes. No, it's not that.
No.
Next up is Joy T. Pretty.
Pretty. I'm just thinking about you yesterday.
Hey, here she is.
Oh, well, you know, your talk today, I felt like you were speaking directly to me, just for me.
Yeah. That astrology component went right to the...
Yeah, but the astrology component, but I just have had this inner yearning. I think it's been my entire life to be an expression and to know the beauty and grandeur of the universe. And now I have the opportunity to develop my business as a Vedic astrologer and to help people see that in themselves. Also, the darkness in their life and the light that's trying to shine through their beings. And the way you worded it, I mean, I have some fears about doing this because I've lived, you know what my structures are, being in the legal background and having everything defined. And who would have thought this little girl from Boise, Idaho would start pursuing a career as a Vedic astrologer? And I have fear because, like, how am I going to do this? And it's got to be my income, because at this point, I can't see doing anything else.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It is the avenue, and each of us will have our own unique avenue that will be what is it when you're living your Dharma? Is you love your life. You love doing what you're doing. That's how you know it's your Dharma. And we each have avenues that take us to that. And from that Dharma that brings us that happiness, we expand into the greater Dharmas. So the universe will use you, Priti, as you pursue the delight of what you're manifesting. It means you'll have to handle the money, you'll have to handle the website, you'll have to handle the business, you'll have to do all the things you're fully capable of doing and manage perfectly. And she will work through you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So
That doesn't mean
Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Stop that.
You're an old new chicken. Keep regenerating and anew. You're what do you call it? That irrepressible energy in you. So if that's not youth, nothing is youth. I know a lot of young people who don't have anything like your aliveness. So yeah, no problem, dear. That's just an idea. Yeah, little girl from Boise. Yeah, that's also, now it's going to be a big girl from Boise.
Yeah, who knows where it's going to take me or where I'm going to be living or.
No, I assure you it's going to be these outcomes will be secondary.
Yeah.
The purpose is the most important thing.
All you do is have to do it. There's no other requirement. You just take the next step, and you're already doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, I think we can make you a resource on our.
Yes, of course.
We'll make you a resource on our website.
Well, that would be fantastic.
Yes. Yes, we'll make you a resource on our website.
All I actually need from you, I'll send you an email, okay?
Okay.
Pretty. Yeah, I need a nice photo and how they get in touch with you. That's it.
A nice photo, a little description, and then I'll
Yeah.
get in touch with you. Yeah.
I have to work on that.
Yeah. Well, now,
Uh-huh.
well, let's see. The universe is giving you applied action right away. So, because you're so ready, and it's giving you an avenue by which you can expand.
You can do this.
Yeah.
You're already doing it.
Yeah.
And that's all. I mean, the minute you put yourself out there, people will come.
They're already coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, sweetie.
I love you.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Next up is Prem.
Prem,
Hey.
namaste. Good to see you.
Namaste, Prem. Good to see you. Oh, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There
Yeah,
you go.
you're here.
Hello, beloved. It's lovely to see you both.
Ah,
Beloved Sangha,
Likewise.
all and everybody. Thank you for your talk earlier on, Satri. I'm still, it was like, what can you say? I mean, still living without, I don't need any insurance about. And I just, I wanted to also thank Patricia for her marker about eating. And for me here, it's like eating and being eaten simultaneously.
ah,
And having said that, coming to where we are, I'm just about to embark on a 16-day break out of this metropolis into a green belt area, so I'm joining a kind of a Buddhist retreat, and then I'm spending 6 days separately, so I apologize for not being here tomorrow and the day off. It's just come about, and I've been burning at both ends, and life has brought this for me, and I want to be there. So I will be with you very much.
follow. You know, Prem, you're so aligned with what's happening. That obviously this is what the universe wants of you right now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prem.
Thank you, Prem.
Next up is Janet.
Oh, good.
Namaste, Janet.
Hey.
Hello. It's
Hello.
Nice to see you. Yay.
Yay.
There's so much from this. I've had this funny, I'm going to call it a conflict. That's the way I'm looking at it, and I don't think it is, but I'm going to be retiring soon. And yay.
Yay.
What's interesting with it, though, is kind of recognizing that, because I work with college students and I help them figure out what they're going to do with their careers, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of, it's got this ironic kind of
Yeah.
application for me. So I'm kind of sunsetting out of that, and I'm recognizing how much I'm really going to miss those students, and
Yeah.
how much I love working with them, the culture, everything else around it. I'm done. But
Yeah.
but that connection with the students, and kind of recognizing how good I am with them.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now I'm walking away from this. I'm really going to miss this, but it feels like, for me, in my like spiritual development, it's been really hard to balance both. And I want to kind of make myself more available for my inner work. So there's that, and my heart goes there. You know, I listen to this, I listen to you, Satshri, and it's like that's what I want.
Yes. Yeah. You are already a Dharma creator. You're already serving the work with the students. I believe the World Mother wants you to work in a larger arena. She's giving you the okay, it's enough. You've had your break-in period. Now we want the real work. So your students will come and you will be doing the same thing, but in a different context. It'll be spiritual. So
Okay.
I can see the joy in you that's come since I've met you. Boy, it's like you're breathing, you're here,
That's a
you're
first.
alive,
That's
you've come
good.
back from the near dead. So yeah, yeah. So now there's a life. Now there's a life to live. You know, we've
Yeah.
invited you to come to Washoe for a while, and I mean, the GTP, there's so many different avenues you can take your skill set and begin to apply it where it's more closely aligned with the work we're doing. And that would be my invitation for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
When's your official retirement?
Well, I'm hoping they're gonna, because they're laying people off left and right. You know,
Yeah.
university system has no money. So I'm thinking they might buy me out,
Ooh,
which could be soon, and I would like say, yeah. So it could be like 2 months, it could be 6, but it's gonna
Okay.
be. And I have had in mind to spend some time at Washoe. The one other thing that comes up with it is kind of recognizing I've worked with these people, I'm good at this, etc. But there's this other part of my heart that, you know, if I think of the World Mother and what makes me cry
Yeah.
is the creatures, and it's the birds and the sea creatures.
Yeah.
And I'm an educator, so there's this whole other question of, well, is this this is where my heart really goes? I don't know. It's just sort of confusing. Like I'm on this cusp of all these
Yeah,
different
you are on the
possibilities.
cusp. Yes. But the
Yeah.
truth of that, the truth of your feeling for wanting to preserve the opportunity for life is clear evidence of the World Mother. But the way to serve that is by first serving the humans, because they're the ones that can take what you give and convert their life into this greater purpose.
Mhm.
The fish aren't going to get it, you know.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
so you work with the humans, and what is that going to? First of all, look at the arena. As you know, with my work, it's not about running for office politically. It's not about creating a business that makes a lot of money so it can be given to good causes. It's about empowering people to know the truth of what they already are. If you want to make a difference in the world, find an avenue by which you are empowering people to know the truth of what they already are. That's what you were doing with the kids. From
Mhm.
there, one of them will take on the cause.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
bees, for the fish, for the birds, or whatever it may be, because everyone has a particular specific set of capacities, and that they're at a certain stage of life where they can act on those. But many will receive and be in, give money for the cause or whatever, but it won't make a difference. So these normal ways of trying to solve the world's problems through this mental outward work
Right.
is much weaker, much weaker, because it only has as much power as we as 1/7.8 billionth of the world power. But when you begin to empower others, then the heart, the purpose that's living you will be able to be empowering those who can receive it in a way that could be more effective than you could ever be.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
All right.
Okay.
There you
I
go
get
then.
it. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you. All right.
We have 3 questions from the
Okay.
YouTube channel.
All right.
All right. So one is Krishna and Mother different? And can we go against the wishes of the world mother? So that's one of them.
Oh, beautiful questions. No difference. Really, there's no difference between any true purposeful expression of this purpose that I'm speaking to. They're all have different roles, however. The principle of Krishna is representative of the embodied supreme being. The principle of the world mother is she's his Shakti. She is the means by which he is the Purusha, the Purushottama, can manifest through the Mahashakti. So the world mother is the Mahashakti, but I'm actually using the aspect of the Mahashakti that's focused on this planet. And that's why I call her the world mother. It's the same Mahashakti, but it's the one that's working to try to sustain and hold the opportunity for humanity. So it's the one that brought the pandemic. It's the one that is now losing the capacity to support her children because she's here for us and all beings. She's here for all beings, like the mother, but she is completely passionate about the opportunity of life for us. So she is drawing on the Krishna principle to empower her effectiveness in strengthening her children's ability to help themselves. And that's us humans. We're the intermediary. And actually, we're the most important because we're the ones that take this will of the Supreme, recognize it as the world mother, and bring it into our lived lives. And this is how she can enter in to help all living beings and to put in whatever correction can be done, both through the humans and through nature herself, to create new possibilities that haven't manifested or have not been recognized in science up to now, so that they can come forward and help balance this imbalance that's occurring. So it's a little bit more than what you asked, but there you got it.
All right, I think there's a second question.
Yes. Can we go against the wishes of the world mother?
That's right. Not if your intent is true. The nature of the intent to serve the world will purify, will make even the error part of the solution. The thing with error is part of the thing that we carry as humans. We could do it wrong, that we should be doing it right. So we don't understand that the principles that manifest this purpose aren't bound by those rules of right or wrong. That's what we do to ourselves. The universe hears our intent. If our sincere intent is to serve this purpose in whatever way it's showing up for you, then you can do no wrong. It'll all serve. Everything will serve, just like Trump served. All this, the peril is serving to empower the purpose, because obviously we're entering another stage of evolution that we haven't been able to recognize because of the calcification of the old Dharma that has been shaping our reality. So it all is purposeful. Okay.
And there's one more.
Yeah.
Could it be that we are manifestations of Supreme, but we mistake ourselves for this body mind? Is the best thing we can do is shut up and have nothing to do or nothing to achieve?
Well, it's a good start point. If you're a problem, stop being the problem. But it's not going to do it. You stop being the problem, the potential for being the problem is still there. So unfortunately, you got to do more than that. Shut up, be still, stay in your room, cause as little harm as possible. That's not the opportunity of your birth. Your opportunity of your birth is to go beyond that boundary by learning to go into life from a place different than that would imagine that we are the problem. The problem, the fact is that even in us imagining ourselves as the problem, there is a possibility. That's the peril. The peril is to imagine you're the problem. The opportunity is to become the solution. So that's the comparison of peril and purpose. If you know you're the problem, then fix it. And how do you fix it? Well, everything I teach is about how to fix it. The Bhagavad Gita, the mother book. Live for something more than your ego. Come out of your repulsion and fear. Meet the things that separate you from love, from connection with other people. Be willing to venture outside of the boundary of where you're comfortable. Be willing to let go of points of view and positions that perhaps protected you as a human being, but are in the way of you growing as a spiritual being. Wake up, get real, live, come to responsibility for them. There's only one person who's going to live your life, you. With that, you open yourself up to the whole universe as saying, oh, look at another human who wants to wake up. And they'll join in and do what you can't do for yourself. So I don't know what it might be. I don't know what your curse. I don't know you. So I am whoever is writing the question. But I think we each have to look at where we created a little small life to get by, to avoid distress, to try to stay as less miserable and as close to happy as possible for as long as possible. It's inadequate. It is not a sustainable position. It's not going to be successful, because unless we wake up and live aligned with our purpose, we're fooling ourselves, and the consequences of not living aligned with our purpose is less truth, less liveness, less love. And yeah, you'll end up in a little cell of your own creation in the middle of the woods somewhere, being silent and still. But that's a retreat from life. That's the retreat from the purpose. You want that. You want to have that as a base to keep connecting, but you need the life to be able to take advantage of having a body and being alive at this time. All right, any more questions? Okay, good. There, you got it. We're there. Yeah, I know you all got it when I said hello, but it's making it real, bring it into your life. And this is the art of the deal, is that you make it real for yourself. And by bringing this into your life in tangible ways on a regular basis. So, all right. Well, those of you who would like to join and continue in this conversation, we're going to take it up tomorrow as we're going to look at this time of transition. We're going to look at it in a number of different ways and preparing us for the intensive on Saturday. All right. So let's take some time in silence and stillness just to be in the miracle of this world and be in the miracle of yourself here, aware of the miracle of it. How long?
Oh,
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari
Hari
Om
Om
Tat
Tat
Sat.
Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri. All glory to the Supreme. May truth manifest. Namaste. That was fun.
We'll see you next time, tomorrow.